This is Jonathan Becker reporting to you from Magic the Gathering World Championships in Paris. We're here with Oyvind Andersen, current Norway national champion. Oyvind, tell us about the deck you played yesterday.
It's basically a black-white aggro disruption deck. It has weenies like creature curves starting at 1 and going up to 4, like with the normal things you would expect from a black-white aggro deck like Savannah Lions and Dark Confident and the Ghost Council, Hypnotic Spectres. And then it plays an even amount of 7 discard spells and 7 removal spells. And after board, it transforms in certain matchups. So you board in 13 to 15 cards and it becomes a control deck. Hopefully that's unexpected against your opponents.
So you can really move from an aggro black-white build and you can really pull it back and become a much more controlling black-white build.
Because the sideboard, it contains Phyrexian Arenas and Wrath of God and Angel of Despair, all the kinds of good black-white control cards you would expect from a traditional control build.
Now, when I was watching you play yesterday, you had an unusual play in that you could Wrath of God and follow up with Savannah Lion, which seems a little bit unusual to find those in the same deck.
Yeah, it's fun because it's unexpected, but Savannah Lions aren't that bad if you play a control deck anyway, because they come out early and they trade with something, so you can slow roll the Wrath much more than you could have otherwise if you didn't have an early turn play. And then the key card in the deck, the card that makes the deck tick, it's the Martyr of Sands, the white martyr you can sack to gain life. A lot of people like on Modo just laughed at me for playing a main deck 1/1 life gain card in the beatdown deck.
And you're not playing the recursion version where you can keep getting it back.
No recursion. The sideboard has one other card, Valkyrie. Is that how it's pronounced in English? So in some rare cases you can start recurring it each turn with a Valkyrie, but that's something you do every like 25 games.
Now, what do you think your matchup is against the Boros deck wins? Because there's a lot of that near the top of the standings, and you seem to do very well, coming out at 5-0-1 yesterday.
Yeah, in practice it can't lose. It can lose game 1, but as long as you get enough mana for games 2 and 3, it's just impossible to lose. Like you play a turn 2 Martyr of Sands, it trades for Savannah Line, and then you gain 15 life, putting you at 30-something. And then so that buys you infinite time to set up with Wraths and Arenas and the big creatures. So it has a lot of these 4+ toughness guys that Boros has serious problems dealing with.
Sure, and so you feel you're actually kind of pulling for the Boros decks if you make Sunday, because you'd love to see them in the top 8 with you.
Yeah, really. I'd like, if I'm in really good shape in the last turns and I know my opponent is playing Boros in standard, I'll probably scoop him into top 8 if possible.
Now, well, you've kind of an underrated deck builder. You actually built another pretty famous deck that if you've been on Magic Online you would have seen. Tell us a little bit about that.
I built the deck that I named Satanic Sly, the red-black deck that I won my nationals with. It's basically, it is a Sly deck, so I used the word Sly in the name. And it splashes black for Dark Confident and hit run and or Cruel Addict to deal with problem creatures that had protection black or are untargetable or stuff like that. And that deck, I made it, I played it constantly on Modo for a month before my nationals. And I won my nationals with it, and afterwards it showed up in the Japanese top 8, a slightly different version, because I know the guy that was credited with that deck, I know he's played against me online several times, and I know he has the deck from my top 8 replays in Premier events. But I was very surprised because he used a really bad version of the deck. He used the deck like it was a month, like the deck was a month before I tweaked it. I finished tweaking it, so it's an old bad version of it, and it still made top 8.
It's got to be a testament to how strong the deck is if you can use even a version that's very outdated and still have excellent results with it. Well,
afterwards, I gave an updated list to a Scotsman. I talked to him on Modo, and he was a couple of days before his nationals, and he just asked me. He knew I'd built that deck, won my nationals with it. So I gave him an updated post-cold snap version of Satanic Sly. So that he could use at his nationals, and he promptly went 9-0 in the standard part of that event and became national champion with my deck list.
So there you have it, Oyvind Andersen, very underrated and a little bit unknown deck designer, but you should know him, and if you were on Modo, you certainly would have seen these decks and been ready for him.